Your retirement income can be impacted by so many factors, it's hard to keep track of them all. I'm Sharla Jessop, president of Smedley Financial Services. Today, my friend and colleague Parker Thompson will explain the complexities of income planning in retirement and how to prepare for some of the challenges. Welcome to the SFS Power Up Wealth podcast, where we provide impactful insight and expert opinions on timeless financial principles and timely investment topics, preparing you to make smarter decisions with your money. Parker, it's good to have you with us today.
Thanks for having me on.
Parker is a member of the wealth management team at Smedley Financial, and he spends a great deal of time preparing and reviewing retirement income plans. Parker, you recently shared an experience you had when joining an advisor meeting with a client. Share that with us.
It's the reason that I wrote the article, kind of the inspiration behind it. On this occasion, we had been referred to one of our other clients, his son, had expressed interest in seeing what we did and what our services were, what we offered. And we went into the meeting and we met with this prospective client, and we were not planning on talking about the 401k that he had with the company that he worked with his entire life. He just had some excess income that he was wondering where he wanted it invested and what to do with it and how to kind of mitigate his risk. But throughout the conversation, we started to present some options for him. And we got into the lifetime income plan and what we do with our clients when they go into retirement or they near retirement, and how we implement this strategy or plan for them. And what his reaction was towards the end of the conversation was he was so surprised. His reaction was, "Is this true? This is great. Why doesn't everyone do this? Why doesn't everyone know about this?" And Michael and I kind of chuckled a little bit and said, that's the reaction that we like to hear. But then it got me thinking for this article, why doesn't everyone know about it? And what are the benefits? What are the pros and cons? What is, per se, the magic of lifetime income plan or the lifetime income planning strategy, which is what we do for these clients?
Well, what exactly is a lifetime income plan?
I think to put it very, very simply, it is a strategy that we deploy for our retirees with their nest egg, per se, so their full amount of money, where we want to protect their income. Because when you go into retirement, you start to take out from your assets, right? You need distributions and you need to take income for your years in retirement. And it's a strategy for us to put money in different buckets or areas, per se, with different types of risk to match when they're going to take that money out. So the money that they're going to take out sooner in retirement, right, the next 1 to 5 years, we want to have more conservative. And so it's less at risk to the markets, and they can pull on it when they need to, and it's more liquid. Whereas the money that they're not going to pull from until later in retirement, 20, 30 years into it, right, towards the end of retirement, we want that to be in a more aggressive or growth mindset allocation where they can actually take advantage of the markets, right, and the growth that would happen in those many, many years. So it's that balancing act where we want to mitigate some of the risk for them early on in retirement, give them the lifestyle that they would like in retirement with the income that they need, and basically answer the question, am I going to make it? Am I going to have enough in retirement? That's what we like to answer with this strategy.
And that's a big concern for so many people who are getting close to retirement. And I think it's also important to know that it isn't a one-size-fits-all type of a strategy. It really is based on each individual's values, goals, their income needs, their risk tolerance. Because even when you say we want maybe the money that's going to be out long-term to be for more aggressive, well, that doesn't mean it has to be aggressively invested. It's just going to be invested more aggressively than their most conservative money, but it still reaches their risk tolerance. What are some of the challenges people face, and why would they need a lifetime income plan?
It really is based on these people's values, right? What they want to get and what they need in retirement. Some of the things that most people just want answered, right, are, like I said, am I going to be okay? Am I going to be secure? Am I going to run out of money? And they have certain reasons for worrying about these things because they've either seen a loved one go through it or someone even closer, maybe themselves have started to kind of go down this path. But essentially, some of the risks that they're looking at are okay, what if the market doesn't return the way that I think it's going to? Right? It's
You mean
easy.
it's not going to make 7 or 6% every year from here on out?
You're right, right. We like to do our projections based off of that because it's simple math, right? But the market, as we know, doesn't move in a straight line. It'd be nice if it was just a great curve upwards, right? And it just continually went upwards in a straight line. But we know that that's not the case, right? It's very up and down. A lot of people refer to it as a roller coaster, rightfully so. But it starts to look really jagged and rocky and just up and down. And so you don't really know what to expect from the market. No one has a crystal ball, and you're not sure where things are going to go, right? At any given day or any given year. But one thing this does is help to basically flatten out that risk, or to at least help someone know that even if the market goes down, they're still okay, right? Their nest egg or their safety hasn't been blown up by the market.
What about things like inflation? Is that something that's encompassed in a lifetime income plan?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It accounts for the inflation, and it accounts for not only just one inflation number throughout the entire process, but changing inflation, right? That inflation can go up and down as well too, as we've experienced in the last year or so, right?
Definitely.
So it not only do markets go up and down, but inflation does too, is what we found out, and that's what the plan accounts for as well too.
And there are so many other little risks that oftentimes people really don't tune into them or think about them. What about longevity risk?
I think this is one of the biggest things is when people, obviously people are more concerned about, will my money last, right? Because people are living longer, retiring longer. It's, it used to just think, okay, I go retire for 10, 15 years. No, people are living a lot longer. So 25, 30 years, will your money last? And part of the reason why we want to have better returns over the years, or part of why we want to protect what you're taking income from now, is so that we're not touching the income that's going to prolong you later in retirement. If you take, a lot of money in early years when there's not as good returns, that can negatively affect you, and it can be harder to get back to that nest egg amount that you started with, or to grow on top of that if you've taken out during bad years. So in this case, if we're doing it the right way, and if you're implementing the strategy, that money that you've left and not had to touch and just let it grow, it will prolong you in your later years of retirement.
That makes sense. And, we say later years of retirement. A married couple, age 65, has a 50% chance that one of them is going to live into their 90s. That's a long time to plan for. You really have to be frugal. And especially if people are retiring, in their early 60s, they're going to be in retirement 30 years, just as many years as they were working.
Yeah, it's something that as people are retiring earlier, and we have these innovations in health and science, people are going to live longer. The IRS usually predicts people till 95, right? I think a lot of people chuckle at that and laugh and say, I'll never make it, but we see it every day. There's people that make it. They make it a lot longer than they think.
We have many more clients in their 90s now than we did 28 years ago when I started. The numbers have just increased exponentially.
Yeah.
What about emotional risk?
I really think that it's an advantage to just know that someone is watching it for you, right? Because if you are left to your own devices, we just know inherently we're all human. When we see the market going down, we think that it's always going to go down, right? And when it's up, we're happy, but the down years feel a lot worse than the up years feel good. And that's just a simple way to put it. So this is a way to know that I'm on track, I'm on plan. My plan, or my distribution strategy, this lifetime income plan, it accounts for these down years. And so I don't need to get caught up in if I'm going to make it. No, this is all part of the plan, and it's baked in, it's worked in. We've calculated the numbers. I'm going to be okay. And I think that does a lot to help people to just breathe easy, sleep easy at night.
Especially when we're going through emotional times like we've had for the last 3 years. The strongest person emotionally certainly has even questioned their investment strategy over the last 3 years, I'm certain.
There's a lot of opinions, left and right. And so to be able to know that you're on a tried and true program, right? You're on a tried and true method, that helps you to know that what you're hearing left and right is kind of hearsay, right? You have evidential proof that the plan that you're on, the lifetime strategy that you're working through, is going to pull you through.
And one of the things that makes it work is it's not just one time. It's not a click and it's done plan. You're monitoring these plans, ongoing. They're being monitored every 6 months. Things are changing in life. You don't get to retirement and then it's just a smooth sail going forward. A lot of things change during retirement. And so that's why it's so important to review it consistently. Talk to me about spending in retirement and how that impacts the plan.
Man, do I wish that it was just a one-click button, right? It'd be a lot less work for us on our end. We continually monitor it, and because we know that spending in retirement changes and it fluctuates as well too. Anyone who's owned a home knows that every time the roof comes up, it seems like it comes up too quick, right? And all of a sudden you need to take out 20 or 30 grand to fix your roof. Retirees, they need the income, right? Fixed income. If your fixed income or your pensions that are starting to go away are not going to be there, you need money out of your portfolio for your income needs. And then when unexpected things come up, right? Your car breaks down. Like I said, the roof needs to be fixed or something breaks, the AC breaks in your house. That stuff is always unexpected, but where do you turn to? We've also accounted for those bigger expenses, right? Just in general, looking over the years, we know that people don't usually plan for these things. It's hard to plan for because you don't know what's going to happen. But when you have that plan in place and you know that this big cost is accounted for, it's usually a lot easier to take that money out to get it done.
Also, I think that sometimes in retirement, people feel like it's vacation, every day's vacation. Yeah. And the spending, increases significantly. And pretty soon the plan's in jeopardy. That's why monitoring it so often helps keep that in control so it doesn't implode the plan.
It helps for us to look at it. And sometimes we have to say cut back, and sometimes we have to say, hey, you can spend more. But it depends on how that person goes into retirement, right? Some people want to pull more in their early years of retirement because they want to travel, see the things that they haven't been able to see in the world. And others are in their later years of retirement and they're just trying to make it by. But yeah, us monitoring it, we always check it, right? And say, are we all still on track? Can we still pull the same amount? Do we need to cut back, or can you increase more? Have the markets been good, or have you been good with your spending? But it's a balance, because you want to be able to spend in retirement and enjoy your retirement, but you also want to make it, the whole way. You don't want to end up, with no money for the last 10, 15 years of your retirement.
Right. As a matter of fact, I don't know how someone goes into retirement without a plan and has confidence that they're going to be okay. There's no guarantees. Even a lifetime income plan doesn't give you a guarantee because there's so many different factors. But what it does give you is maybe some confidence that you're on track.
Yeah. It's just that it's a plan that we set in place, right? And it's a two-part thing. We work with the clients and the clients work with us, and we kind of we tackle it as a team and make sure that everything is going to plan at least as much as we can on our end.
A lot of people have, as they get closer to retirement, they've been saving over the years in IRAs and other things, but generally they've been saving in retirement plans like 401ks or company-sponsored plans. Can you do a lifetime income plan in a 401k type plan?
To my knowledge, I don't know a single 401k that has been able to implement the lifetime income plan. Because of how in-depth it goes and because of the monitoring aspect of it, it's hard to just do it in a 401k, and usually they don't have people on staff that will monitor and put it into place for you. The way that we do it, setting up different buckets or areas or accounts to put it into, that takes time and that takes energy, and you have to have a staff or an advisor on your side to do that for you. So 401ks, to my knowledge, have a hard time implementing this.
Right. Most 401ks now have a wide variety of investment options. They're very competitive in that regard as far as having access to different investments. But what they don't allow is for you to set up different pockets of money, conservative, moderate, aggressive, and then take a distribution just from a conservative. When you take a distribution from a 401k, it comes out of everything across the board. So you aren't really able to manage the risk the same way.
Right.
Understandable.
Yeah. And usually it's you're working with an advisor and they kind of set you up to just, here's your allocation and go forward with that. And they don't change it as often. They're not looking at it or monitoring it. A lot of time it's self-directed, right? So you're left to your own devices. Well, what kind of allocation should I have? And should it be aggressive or more conservative? And it's kind of a guessing game at that point.
I can see the value of sitting with an advisor to review an update and implement a lifetime income plan.
Yes. Yeah. Always have an advisor on your side when you're doing this plan.
Good advice. Parker, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining the Power Up Wealth podcast. Smedley Financial is located at 102 South, 200 East, Suite 100 in Salt Lake City, Utah, 84111. Call us today at 800-748-4788. You can also find us on the web at smedleyfinancial.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. The views expressed are Smedley Financial's and should not be construed directly or indirectly as an offer to buy or sell any securities or services mentioned herein. Investing is subject to risks, including loss of principal invested. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. No strategy can assure a profit nor protect against loss. Please note that individual situations can vary. Therefore, the information should only be relied upon when coordinated with individual professional advice. Securities offered through Securities America Inc., member FINRA, SIPC, Roger M. Smedley, Sharla J. Jessop, James R. Derrick, Shane P. Thomas, Michael B. Ani, Jordan R. Hadfield, registered representatives. Investment advisor representatives of Smedley Financial Services, Inc. Advisory services offered through Smedley Financial Services, Inc. Smedley Financial Services, Inc. and Securities America are separate entities.